Hello, my boxing brothers, and welcome, yeah, to this boxing round. Uh, First of all, I beg your pardon if I look a little worn out, but yeah, it's not been an exactly easy day for me. Anyway, yeah, so this next Saturday we have a pretty interesting card at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in London. Of course, the main event is the long-awaited Chris Eubank Jr. versus Conor Benn. This fight was supposed to happen in, I believe it was late 22, but yeah, then it was cancelled. And now they made it again. But before I go there, I want to talk about a few fights on the undercard. First of all, we have the return of Chris Smith, who is fighting a guy called Brandon Glanton. Alright, it's a 10-round fight. Cruiserweight, of course. So this guy, Glanton, is 5'11". He's not a tall cruiserweight. They are almost the same age. Actually, Chris Smith is 34. Wow, I didn't know that. Interesting. And this guy, Glanton, is 33. Yeah, they're both orthodox. Glanton, however, actually has a reach advantage. 3 inches. Wow, man. Even though he's 4 inches shorter. Weird. But yeah, Chris Smith is returning after his second loss of his career, where he lost the WBO title, of course, to Gilberto Ramirez. This is, of course, he looks just like a very beatable opponent on paper, Brandon Glanton. I don't know who he has fought before. Let's see. I never heard of him, but the cruiserweight division is, never been exactly the strongest one, and yeah, now we know who pretty much there are only 2 guys that are really top dogs or kingpins in that division. Of course, we have Zurdo Ramirez, who I already mentioned, and Jayo Petaya. So Glanton has, he lost to David Light, wow, by a split decision. That guy you may remember from what was the most boring, probably, title fight ever in the cruiserweight division, when he fought Lawrence Okoli. So yeah. Alright, that was that, alright. Yeah, I mean, this guy hasn't been stopped yet, Glanton, so this might well go the distance also. And he's got 17 knockouts, so he's got some good power, of 20 wins. Actually, both are 22-0. Wow, their record is identical. I didn't notice that. Alright. Yeah, Chris Smith, he's a solid fighter, but he lacks some of that technical, the technical polish that the others got, such as Ramirez, for instance. He doesn't. He's not the best technical boxer, but he has learned how to fight effectively, with what he's got, the limited talent that he got, and you gotta respect that, of course. So, of course, I expect Smith to win this fight. I don't know, probably on points or whatever. Alright, we also have Liam Smith, the 3rd Smith brother, and the oldest one that is still fighting, the older brother of Callum Smith, of course. He's fighting also, he's now middleweight, against Aaron McKenna. Okay, so McKenna is a lot younger. He's 25, and Liam Smith is 36 already. I think he will be 37 actually this year. Yeah, and yeah, also McKenna a lot taller, 6'1". Smith is 5'9". A big reach advantage, also big reach. Yeah, difference there. But Liam Smith, he knows how to fight taller fighters also, and even though he did lose to Chris Eubank Jr. in the guy who is of course heading the main event, in his last fight, which was a while ago, over a year ago, he still is. I don't think he should be completely written off, But yeah, this fight will definitely show where he is, when it comes to his form and all that. Yeah, man, that was amazing when he knocked out Chris Eubank Jr. Even though some have questioned it later after that, the elbow thing. But yeah, I mean, Liam Smith definitely had a really good career. I don't think. I think maybe even is a bit of an overachiever, you might say. He's only lost to the really, the very best. I mean, yeah, Canelo and Munguia and Kurbanov and Eubank Jr. of course. So Aaron McKenna, I really don't know much about him. He's a rather new name on the horizon. So I don't know really. This fight will also probably go distance, but might even end in a knockout. You never know with Smith. He's really a dodgy fighter. Well, anyway, that was that one, and then also finally the co-main event, which is a light heavyweight British showdown between Anthony Yarde and Lyndon Arthur. So yeah, I mean, they are both now 33. Lyndon Arthur is taller by 2 inches and also 2-inch reach advantage. Lyndon Arthur, yeah, he this is actually their third fight. I don't really know why, but I guess because they both won. So yeah, I mean, in the first fight, Yarde didn't really look himself, and he was outboxed and all that. But in the second one, he of course knocked out Arthur in the 4th round. And Arthur was unbeaten back then, so it was a very impressive victory. However, with Yarde, we know he's got serious abilities. I mean, he had Kovalev in trouble in that fight also, and also against Beterbiev. He had some moments, definitely, but he never was able to really. I don't know why, to really establish himself or win a big fight yet. But Lyndon Arthur also is kind of a pretty good boxer, but not really world class, you might say. But yeah, he's still a good boxer, so I don't really know what to say. I mean, of course, there's a good chance this will again end in a knockout. Anthony Yarde, however, he had to go the distance in his last fight, and yeah, one might even argue maybe after getting stopped by Beterbiev, he might not be the same guy anymore. But this fight will show, Yep, I think so. So yeah. I think I favor Yarde anyway. And finally, alright, we get to the main event, people. Yeah. Eubank Jr. versus Conor Benn. This is also rather big, kind of big age disparity. Eubank Jr. is now at the, at his last leg, at the beginning of his, how do you put it, downslope where boxers usually start to slow down, 35. Conor Benn 28, but it's not a young 28 considering that he didn't have many fights in the last 3 years. After the first fight fell through, still unbeaten, 23-0. But yeah, he only had 2 fights in the last 2 years. So, but also there have been reports of him not looking so good in sparring and stuff. Yeah, that's which is not so odd, I guess. Doesn't have to be. But while Eubank, has definitely also fought better, opponents and all that, and in his last fight also was kind of impressive against Sheremeta, who was no bomb really, even though if he's not some kind of world beater, but he was a solid boxer, and also he avenged the loss to Liam Smith, as I said, and all that. So yeah, other than that Smith loss, which was kind of had a question marks around it, his last loss was in 2018 to George Groves. So yeah, he's had a pretty good, mostly good career since then, really, you might say, even though he he beat James DeGale, who was at the end of his career, but didn't beat so many big names. Liam Williams, never a big name, really kind of mid-sized name, and Liam Smith, also I guess. Still, I think Chris Eubank, he's also the taller man, and I think technically pretty much the better boxer, just like his old man was. They're both old men fathers were like that. Like Nigel Benn, more like the aggressive punching machine, knockout artist, and Chris Eubank, a slick boxer who also could punch, but didn't fight like Nigel Benn, just all out, bang, bang, bang. Yep. So yeah, man, this fight has been condemned also, not least because Conor Benn, failed that drug test back then, but also because they are really not in the same division, They never have been. Conor Benn is a former welterweight, and this is a middleweight fight. While Chris Eubank did start out as a middleweight, but that was some time ago, you might say. He's fought at 168 for a long time before that, and it seemed like the division where he was more comfortable, but I don't know. He did go back down to middleweight a while ago. Also, I don't know. It's hard to say. I just think that Conor Benn not being so active, that can hit back at him. As they say here, hit back or fall back on him. And I can see him doing well in the first few rounds, but then later he might fade. And I don't see him really knocking out. He's been talking a lot, saying he's gonna smash Eubank's face and stuff. But I don't think he can do that unless Eubank should suddenly prove to have, aged overnight. So I think Eubank wins this fight because he's simply a better boxer, all around better boxer. May not be a better puncher, but he still can punch, definitely. Also, just like his old man. So. Yeah, but whatever happens, I hope nobody, really gets hurt by this. Because it is a little, I don't know, a little extreme that this fight was able to happen because, as I said, Conor Benn was never a true middleweight, but Wasn't back then. I don't know about now. Maybe he has grown into it, but he'll never be a real. He's too small for a middleweight. Simple as that. Maybe a light middleweight, yeah, but not really a full-grown middleweight. So, all right. So that would be it, for this time. All right. I'll see you soon and enjoy the fights. Bye.